Welcome back to the show, everybody. Chris Perez Howard is a member of our island family who used his gift for words and to put words down on the printed page. He used the gift of literature to express a very, very emotional time in his life, the loss of his mother after World War II. Chris joins me right now on the KUM couch. It is a true honor.
Pleasure.
And so you have actually had this book out, Mariquita, dedicated towards your mom, chronicling basically the time. This is one of the most well-read books about the Chamorro experience during World War II. And maybe if you can, in your own words, please, sir, if you would, what motivated you to write this?
You know, it's a long story, but I'll try to make it short. Is that when I returned to Guam after so many years, I didn't know anything about my people, my culture, the island, and even about my mother. I grew up without Chamorros being around me. My father was an only child, and I was in Indiana. And so I had lost all contact with my relatives, but for some reason, because I had spent 2 years when I was 9 and 10 on Guam and had reconnected with the family in 1950, in the 50s. And it had always stayed with me. And for some reason, I had this pulling, you know, and I said, okay, I'm going to Guam.
You can take the boy away from the island, but you can't take the island out of the boy.
I contacted my uncle, an uncle that was living in California. And I said, could you please have someone meet me at the airport, you know, and help me, you know, settle in. So I came, and he said, sure. And there were about 30 people at the airport.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I didn't know who they were. You know, I knew they were relatives and stuff, but, you know, I had lost contact and everything. But through my time at that time, I started trying to find out who my mother was, about the island, about the culture. I just felt stupid. And so I started delving into the history and things like that. And then every time I'd run into people, they say, especially the older ones, they say, oh, I knew your mother, she was this, she was that. And which led me into understanding really more about how little I knew about myself and, you know, about where I came from. So a friend of mine said, well, why don't you do the research, apply for a grant, and that way you'll have the time to do the research, and then you could write it at the same time. I said, oh, that's a good idea, right? So I did that. I got the grant. I started writing about it, about someone I didn't know. Well, when I started delving into it, I realized that it was the story of my mother, and it was very emotional for me.
I was going to say, was that cathartic?
Oh, gosh.
I can only imagine.
It was horrible. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm revisiting it is because it got to the point where I just wanted to get it finished. So I just sort of rushed through the last parts, you know, just to get it finished. And that's why I'm very happy that I was able to revisit it at this time, because my emotional defenses are stronger.
And this book has
and I'm not afraid to cry in front of people
and that's absolutely fine. You know, we encourage tears here at KUM, tears of joy and tears of acceptance. Mariquita has been out since 1982.
That's right.
The new version, if you could just hold that up, we'll get a shot of that. It's beautiful. Mariquita Revisited. What new information is there for people that are familiar with the story and have read this book and have shared this book with their family and friends? What new can they find in this volume?
Well, as far as new information, I think it also has to do with my finding out about myself, because this wasn't only about finding out and learning something about her. It was, who was I, you know, during all of this process. And so when I got back to the book, not only was I able to reconcile my mother's character and make it more complete, but I also was able to add things that I eventually found out, things that I felt now, and to really clean up. I love the book. You know, I feel that I have done the best job that I could with this book, and thankfully also for Lola Leon Guerrero to have supported and pushed me on this.
Well, let me just say, you have played the role of the dutiful son, so obviously you honor your mother's memory very, very well for this. I don't know if there's any better way for an artist to be able to honor his mother. And we want to mention the fact that Chris will actually be at the, can I see, it's a revisited volume, but the rededication, the reintroduction? Relaunch, okay,
Relaunch
thank you.
at, yeah.
That's going to be at Mark at UOG on the second floor lobby on Wednesday, the 25th at 5:30 in the afternoon. We're going to be there as well because we greatly look forward to celebrating this with you. So
that's
thank you,
very
thank you so
nice
much for your
of
time.
you.
And congratulations on doing this. That is a very emotional endeavor.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
congratulations once again. An honor. Yeah. And please stay tuned. We are back after this.